are as follows. Children 5 years old and under are free. Children between 5 and 12 inclusive are 10. Children between 12 and 18 inclusive are 25. And adults are 35. And it says, write a piecewise function that gives the admission price for a given age. Okay, so I am going to, you could call this function whatever you want. Since it said price, I guess I'm going to use P. So I'm going to call this P of X. And I probably should have written that a little lower so it's more centered. Why is this not erasing? What the heck? Okay, whatever. Let's try that again. Okay, so there are going to be actually 4 equal pieces to this piecewise. Okay, so the first piece is children 5 years old and under are free. So what is the cost? 0. Okay, so the price is 0 with the restriction that the kids are, and I'm going to say 0 because they can't be under 0, right? To 5. And it says 5 or under. So it includes 5. So an or equal. If you just put the X is less than or equal to 5, it's not a huge deal, but in the context of the problem, there's not going to be anything in the negatives, right? So I'm going to go ahead and put 0 there. All right. And then the children between 5 and 12 would be $10. Okay. So flat rate of $10 if they are between 5 and 12. Now here it says inclusive. It's including the 12. So you can put an or equal there. Okay. Now you cannot include the 5 in both. The children that are 5 are free, so you do not put an or equal here. All right, and then we had, I don't want orange, let's do green. Children between 12 and 18 are $25. We're going to do the same thing with our inequality. It says inclusive of the 18, so we include it with an or equal. We do not include the 12. The 12-year-olds get the cheaper rate. Okay, and then adults are 35, and that is just when you are greater than 18, older than 18. Does that part make sense? Did y'all get that? Okay, so then we want to graph this piecewise. So these are all constant functions. These are all just going to be horizontal lines between these different domain intervals, right? Okay, so from 0 to 5. Okay, I'm going to do that one in red. Okay, the cost is 0. Let's label. Okay, so this is the age. Okay, the age is independent. Okay, our y-axis here, I'll zoom out so we can see all of that at once, is the price. All right, so the price is 0 if the kids are age 0 to 5. So just a constant there. Okay, then it jumps up. I already forgot what color it was. Purple. My purple's gone. That pretty purple's gone. Okay, to $10 between 5 and 12. Okay, so between 5 and 12, so 12 is going to be about here. And it's inclusive. The 5 was not inclusive, so you need to make sure that that one was an open circle. Okay, and then you have the constant function between those. And then it jumps up to $25 for 12 to 18-year-olds. Okay, so 12 jumps up to 25. That's going to be an open circle here at the 12. Okay, until they get to 18, which is going to be about here. Okay, we have the constant function there. Okay, and then it jumps to 35 at age 18. Everybody good with that function and how we sketched it? Does that make sense? Notice at the values where the domains overlap, only one point is solid, inclusive. The other is an open circle. It's not included. Okay. If you were to make both of these solid, this would no longer be a function, would it? So it would fail the vertical line test. There would be more than one y value at any given x value. Okay, so you can't have a value included in two different intervals of the domain. Any questions about that one? Okay, so the next question was, let me some space here. That's supposed to be on the back. Well, undo that. All right, so this question was the overtime question. It says, you have a job where you make $10 per hour. After you work 40 hours, you get paid time and 1/2. Okay, you may only work. Why that was off like that. But you may only work a maximum of 60 hours. Okay, is one of the stipulations. So we want to write the piecewise to represent your pay for up to 60 hours. All right, so I guess we'll do P again for pay. How many pieces are going to be in this one? Just 2. They're your first 40 hours at your regular rate, okay? And then any time over that at the time and 1/2. There were some questions yesterday. What does that mean? You get paid time and 1/2. So that means whatever your rate is, your hourly rate, when you're working overtime, some companies do it for holidays or overtime. Sometimes for holidays, they do double time. But you get paid 1.5 times your rate. Okay, so a 50% increase. So if $10 is your normal rate, what's your time and 1/2 rate? Okay, so this is going to be $15 per hour. Okay, for your overtime, up to 60 hours. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so for the first function, for the first piece of the piecewise function, okay, it's your normal rate. You are getting, and I guess I won't put $signs in the equation part. Take that out. Okay, you're getting $10 per hour. So 10x. Do y'all agree with that? Okay, and that is, I'm going to color code again. What is the restriction? What is the domain interval for that? It's up to 40 hours. So 0 to 40, and we include both the 0 and the 40. Because it's up to 40 hours. Okay, after you work 40 hours, so this is going to be when it's greater than 40, we're going to be at the 15 per hour. Now this one can be a little confusing because you're not going to make $15 per hour. Like you can't just say, oh, this is it, right? Because you don't make $15 an hour for the entire time. Okay, you only start making the $15 an hour once you reach 40 hours, right? So how would I start my equation here? If I'm working over 40 hours, what's the base pay I'm getting? I'm definitely going to get the 400 for the first 40 hours, right? So I'm getting 400. Well, my pen is not, oh, it's because I'm on the eraser. Haha, fixed it. So we're getting $400 for the first 40 hours. Plus, we're going to get $15 an hour. But again, I can't just put X. What am I going to put here? Yeah, X minus 40, or if you used a different variable, that's fine. So for however many hours I work, I take 40 of those away because I've already got the 400 for those. Okay, and whatever the overage is, that's what I'm getting paid $15 an hour for. Does that make sense? Okay, so then I give the restriction. This is the equation I will use when X is between 40 and what? Because 60 is the maximum. Do I put an or equal on either of those? The 60, because you can work up to 60 hours. So you can equal exactly 60 hours. Okay, you do not put an or equal on 40. If you're working exactly 40 hours, you're getting your regular rate. Y'all feel okay about that one? If you wanted, some of you may have simplified that, and that's fine, but this is, you can leave it just like this. That's okay as well. All right, so we want to graph. Uh-oh, where's our grid? Oh, it's on the next page. Let me get this up here. Oh my goodness, what is happening? Oh, the formatting issues are fun. Okay, here we go. Now, okay, much better. Sorry about that. All right, so now we're going to label our X and Y. So X is the number of hours worked. Okay, and then Y is your pay. Okay, how do I graph the first piece in purple, the 10x? What kind of function is this? Okay, linear function, starts at 0, the origin, slope of 10, and I go until X is the 40. Okay, so the way this is set up is nice, that each little square is actually a slope of 10, right? So I rise 50, run 5. That's a slope of 10, isn't it? Okay, and I'm doing that until I get to 40 hours. So that's going to be at the $400. And that's included. Okay, so from here to here, just a straight linear function. Not as straight as it could have been, but I think you get the idea. Okay, So that's the first piece. So then the second piece, now you might actually want to simplify this to help you sketch the graph. You'll want the actual slope and everything. The slope is what? Not for this one. Yeah, for this one, it's going to be 15, because if I simplify this, I'm going to just come over here and do that so it doesn't mess up where we have our piecewise written. Okay, you're just distributing the 15. So we've got 400 plus 15x. Okay, and then minus, and then the 15 times 40 is 600. So that is 15x minus 200. All right, now, some of you can graph a piecewise just in the section that you want it. Some of you may have to start at your y-intercept and go from there. Okay, but if you think about this, you can just pick a point as well. So I'm starting at where x is 40, right? So you could just plug a 40 in here to get your point. So you could say 15 times 40 is the 600 minus the 200, that's 400. Okay, so it's starting here, and then you need to get another point. So you can say, okay, what is it at 60 hours? What's the end point going to be? So you say 15 times 60 minus the 200 is 700. So at 60 hours, the pay is going to be 700 right here. So from here to here, okay, I have a slope of 15. And you can just connect that. If you want to get points in between, you can. But it's a little harder to tell on there, but you can definitely see that it turns up and has a steeper slope, right? Okay, so this was a slope of 10, and then this is a slope of 15. So it got a little bit steeper from 40 to 60 hours because your rate increased from 10 to 15. Y'all feel okay about those? So that's a piecewise, even though it met here at a shared point, okay? It doesn't have to have gaps to be a piecewise, okay? But this was two different linear functions put together on the same graph, okay? So two different pieces. We good? Okay, y'all are keeping those. Just keep it as part of your notes. Make sure that you have that to look back on. And we are going to start with our formal set of notes on piecewise. So I'm going to stop this video. I'll start another video for the notes. So if you're watching this online, if you were absent, you can just go to the next video for the notes. If it'll let me stop it.